This university is both important for the Dominican order and I think for the Universal Church. And I'll begin with the Universal Church. What we are observing in the world now is a great confusion. People are lost in a sort of relativist chaos. They don't quite know where is truth, where is falsehood, where is goodness, where is evil. With the mixture of civilizations, of movements, of the internet, and of difficulties in handling their own emotions, their own lives, people are lost. And at the same time, within, basically not everywhere, but in many countries in the world, the religious formation, which is given in parishes, in Catholic schools or in state schools, with some snippets of Christianity, but there's a lack of a clear teaching. And in fact, there has been a trend more on experiences, on feelings, rather than on a clear exposition of principles. Now, of course, it is true that as you grow as a child, you need not only a pure teaching like in mathematics, you need to be drawn, you need attractive people who are giving an example. But it's not only good examples and parables and stories and happenings which move people. Well, happenings may move people, but on a short term. To plan your life well, to put everything in order, you have to also furnish the mind. And to have convictions, well, to decide about your life, you need to have convictions. Now, the truths about our being, about the world, about the cosmos, about culture, about human anthropology, about psychology, about economics, about law, the basic principles can be known rationally, and even more so when we accept the light of faith and the revelation which God has given in the scriptures and ultimately in Jesus Christ. This throws an illuminating light basically on everything. And so on the basis of what we have received in revelation and on the basis of the reflection of the human mind, we can arrive at the knowledge of truths about the world, about humanity, about human dignity, about values, about morality. And people need to be trained in this. And if you have people who finish high school and they're competent in mathematics and computer science and physics and chemistry and so on, they need to receive something similar about the basic principles of Christian life. And very often they haven't received that. Or what they've received was just personal sharing. Well, try that in mathematics. If a teacher of mathematics says, well, this is how I feel, this is my own experience. But we don't want your experience, we want to know the basic principles. So this is a great need in the universal world and in the Christian world. And with the attempt for the search for new renewal in theology, in catechesis and so on, in the years since Vatican II, there has been a certain doubt and a certain chaos, and there are whole generations of people who haven't been really formed in their principles. And the young people are yearning for clarity, which will help them to form their lives. Now, we Dominicans, we have a reference to St. Thomas Aquinas, who was a profound thinker, theologian, and a philosopher, and capable of using the input of Aristotle for a greater elucidation from within of the truths of faith in a coherent way, in a way much more profound than most of us can manage to stomach. But nevertheless, it gives a light on the basic principles of basically everything that we view, from metaphysics to anthropology to psychology and morals, and truths of faith, the sacraments, Christ, and so on. So we Dominicans have not given up on our intellectual tradition, although not every province, not every part of the order, not everywhere do Dominicans have made the effort to study, because you need to effort to study to know what Aquinas has given us. But we are convinced that this is a great gift to the world and to the church. And the Angelicum, this university, is the most renowned Dominican place of teaching in the world? Well, various provinces have their own centers of studies, and some of them are on very high standard as well. But they're basically centered on training their own men who enter the order. Whereas here the Angelicum has plenty of students from all over the world, plenty of American seminarians who come here. So we contribute to the formation of the American clergy by having the American seminarians here. And many dioceses in America send their students to Rome to study, and they live in the North American College where they have good living conditions and a good spiritual atmosphere, which is a great part in their priestly formation. But the actual theology that they get, they study either in the Jesuit Gregorian University or here in the Angelicum. And I've often heard from the seminarians, because there's a certain rivalry between those who are studying in the Greg and here, that they appreciate that the various disciplines that they study, dogmatic theology, moral theology, philosophy, it all fits together. It's all based on the basic principles, whereas if they study that each discipline has a different underlying philosophy, then they're lost. And so this is a great gift that the Dominican order gives to the Universal Church, and there are, of course, also many students who come from Africa, from India, where the local dioceses or religious orders do not have the staff, the means to give them a serious formation. So they come to Rome. And since we teach also in English, and it's possible to go through the whole program of studies in English, so those who come from Asia, from Africa, for whom English is sometimes the second or third or fourth language, to get them to learn Italian is a bit difficult, so they can study in English. So this is also a great value of the Angelicum.